Hello, good morning. Welcome back to Making a Difference. I'm your facilitator, Smith, and I just want to say I am very thankful, very fortunate, and I feel so much gratitude for being given the opportunity and wonderful chance to speak to all of my listeners, you young man, you young woman, from every background, from every race, wherever you are, and to be able to share with you some stories, some truth, some genuine life events, in some cases tragedies that have taken place in our lives that we're all familiar with. We're all we can relate to, pain that we feel, have felt, struggles that we deal with. There is no magic wand. There is healing, there is hope, and there is deliverance from destructive patterns, behaviors, choices that we have chosen to be in some cases. Some of these things are as a result of the hardships that we've endured as a child, from the lack of protection that we did not receive, from the men and women who came together to create us, the men and women who were sworn to protect us, vowed to love and to guide us and to teach us. In many cases, a lot of families, we as adults, we as parents have failed. We failed you, young man. We failed you, young woman. And I'll be the first to say, before I even go on to speak, that I've been guilty of failing my own children, my own grandchildren. And I am by no means perfect. I don't have all the answers. Some may feel I have no answers. But I'm here to tell you that if you would open up your ears, your eyes, your heart, and your mind, I am sure, I am convinced that these videos will make a difference. Today, I want to talk to you, young man and young woman, about you're not alone. Recently, I've had the opportunity to speak to some adults, some random individuals that I've met on the street, whether in a restaurant, in the store, at work, nearby my place of work, and I would share with them my mission, my objective, my goal, and my purpose when it comes to these videos of making a difference. And I would share with them that I want to be amongst the many or few pioneers, men and women, who've chosen to not forget about you, young man and young woman, no matter what background. I do not represent the black or brown community or white community. I do not represent the Asian community or Indian community. I represent humanity, because all of your lives matter. They matter not just to me, to your families, those who really truly care, to your friends, those who really truly are concerned about your well-being, to those teachers, to those doctors, to those therapists, to those youth workers, to those social workers or neighbors or grandparents. If you're involved with the juvenile court system in whatever city or state, to some of those judges and attorneys, they're really concerned about you, young man and young woman. to caseworkers who fight for you. You're not alone. And if you feel in any way that some of those of us who do care, you feel or are concerned or ever wanted to know, have we ever been through these things? No, the answer is yes. In fact, most of us have endured similar situations, similar tragedies, disappointments, frustrations, letdowns, have witnessed horrible, poor role models in siblings, older, same age, uncles, aunts, parents, grandparents, step-parents, neighbors, whatever you choose one. We've seen it. We've heard it. And while we can't say that we understand fully what you're going through, you're not alone. Just the other day, I had spoke to a young man about these videos and my purpose. He had mentioned to me that he had watched the videos and that they were, he felt, right on time or on point, as he's put it. He began to tell me about his relationship growing up with his mom and how he felt that she played the biggest part on why he is depressed or takes medications. He stated that she's religious and she attends church, but her spending time with him, engaging with him, listening to him, understanding him, seeking to love him, pour into him, just seemed absent. It was as if she wasn't there. And that's so common, young man, young woman. Many of you, your views or your feelings or beliefs, when it comes to God or some higher power or a creator or whatever you refer to him as, a lot of those things, the way you feel or think or even blame God, has to do with what you've learned from your parents or those around you who profess to know him. And in many cases, their deeds or their actions completely deny him. And what you've seen, on the one hand, is that he's real. They love him. They tell you you should love him. But on the other hand, they show you from what you perceive and see that he's a fraud. That you can do whatever you want. That there really is no help. It's all about you. That you're your own God. That you just choose and things will get better. Well, that's not the case, young man or young woman. And it's not your fault that those people, in some cases, many cases, are hypocrites. Yes, you heard correctly. There are a lot of men and women who have been hypocrites. We have told our children one thing and we've shown them a completely other one. And that's not who God is. That is not love. Love doesn't mislead, doesn't misguide you.
Motion detected at the
It doesn't hurt you. It doesn't teach you false living. It guides you. It's concerned about you. It follows up with you. It checks in on you. It thinks about you. In fact, it denies itself so that you will feel loved. And what I've just described, those are just simply what love looks like when it's acted out and carried out. And for some of you, young men and young women, you're still wondering, when is it ever going to come to my heart? But you're not alone. I have a colleague who recently told me that when she was a child, she said she was molested, violated, touched sexually by her father, her own dad. She said she would actually believe or blame her mom because her mom was right in the next room sometimes when it took place. And so she felt, well, if she's right next door, then maybe she knows that this is happening. Is it wrong? Is it right? You're not alone. Another friend of mine stated that she didn't talk much to one particular family member, an uncle. And nobody understood why. They just assumed that maybe there was a disagreement or an argument. But she said she knew what he had done to her. Her and him, they carried that secret that she probably has never told anyone. Probably, maybe recently, as she was telling me, was the first time in her 30s. You're not alone. Young man, young woman, you're not alone. You struggle to stay alive, to survive, even to provide for your little brothers and sisters, yet you're 14 years of age. Young man recently told me that I moved in with my older brother and his girlfriend, and he said he felt like they only allowed him to stay there so that they could have someone to clean or be a helper. And he said, I felt bad, and so I didn't want to ask them for anything because my mom was incarcerated. She'd already been locked up. So I had to provide for myself. And so when I asked at 14, how are you providing for yourself? By committing illegal acts, drug sales, robberies, thefts. Another young man told me, I don't feel that it's wrong as long as what you're doing is for a good cause. Young man, young woman, you're not alone. Young woman recently told me, I was born in jail. My mom told me that the reason why she's been hard on me is because of what she went through in terms of she was raped, molested, treated like garbage, introduced to drugs at a young age, 15 to be exact. And what are the chances that you, young woman, are dealing with the exact same thing? You're not alone. Just last night, I went to get something to eat. I met a mother and daughter who were sitting down having their dinner. And as I told them about these videos, they began to frown and put their head down. As the daughter stated that it must be meant for me to have met you, because some didn't want to believe that something had happened to me. And I knew that something had happened to me when I was a child. And she would constantly tell her therapist, who she later started to see, that she had these dreams for a reason. She said there was a reason why I felt the need to protect my nieces and nephews or my own kids, because something happened to me, and found out that it was a relative, a male relative. Young person, you're not alone. What you're experiencing this day, this moment, is a curse. And I'm not talking about some mystical witchcraft and things like that. I'm talking about behaviors that are handed down from generation to generation to generation. Because people who these things have happened to, both men and women, young and old, black or white, whatever culture, race, as I always say, that you come from, you're not immune. You don't get a pass from these things. These things will be displayed in your life through your behavior, through your reactions, responses to individuals, situations, and they will haunt you. And these things are very real. You're not alone. You are not alone. And for any men and women who I'm speaking of, including myself, what are we going to do about this? As I've talked about my videos, I discovered that there's so many people. There are so many people who these things have taken place in their lives. I'm not just talking about molestation. I'm talking about people have wronged these young people. These young people have nothing to look forward to because of the brokenness in their home has never been even attempted to be fixed. And it's just shattered glass everywhere. And we just walk on it and we bleed and our feet are cut, our hands, and created scars that stay with us. And we think that it's healed, but it's just been bandaged. It's been taped up, but nobody's dealt with it. And so we see all over the news, all of these celebrities or men and women, teachers and stars or actors or singers or whatever. We hear, oh man, he touched a kid. Really? Did you forget that we're talking about human beings? Human beings who more than likely this stuff has happened to them. And we just chalk it up as, oh, they're just sick. They're broken. I don't know about any of you out there. There are some broken things that simply need to be fixed. In fact, they need to be replaced. Hate needs to be replaced with love. Discomfort needs to be replaced with peace. Dishonor, disgrace needs to be replaced with love and hope. Comfort. You're not alone. This video was just to take the time of the moment, set aside and say you're not alone. Join me next time. I hope these videos are making a difference.